Okay, I'm the matriarch of the family, and on my left is my eldest, Gary, and on my right is my youngest, Mindy Kay. And Beth, unfortunately, had to go somewhere else today. So anyway, Gary, what do you remember when you moved to Williamson Avenue? Well, let's go back to Layton Avenue. Do you remember any of your birthday parties?
I only remember the pictures. I've got pictures of me with the clown cake with the cone hat on it, and I still have, or I think I have, the motor that was used for turning those cakes around, because gave it to Kate to build something not long ago. So that aspect I remember.
How many children did you have at your birthday party when you were 1 or 2 or 3?
Let's see again. I can picture the pictures of it.
Brucey?
Probably 3. You know, right? It would have been. Actually, it may be when I was older. Maybe I'm remembering the pictures with Eddie and.
No.
Earlier than that, there was.
No, it was Bruce Harris,
right?
and Sonny's daughter, Cheryl.
Right.
It's just the 2 of them came to your first and second, and probably your 3rd birthday, because we didn't move into Williamson Avenue until about July, after your 3rd birthday. And
So you had Beth in the other house?
no, I had Beth in Williamson Avenue. I was pregnant when I moved
Okay.
there. Okay. And then after a while, I found I was pregnant again. And guess what? Here she is, my baby, Mindy Kay.
I look different.
Yeah, you look different. But there was similarity between Gary and you. Gary had no hair on his head, eyelashes, eyebrows, no nothing when he was born. And
he's compensated ever since.
And he's compensated, yes.
Overcompensated.
Anyway, my father had cataract surgery toward the end of my pregnancy with Gary. And when he was born and somebody brought my father to the hospital to see the new baby, one of our older nurses, Rose was her name, and she was strict and a little abusive in her language at times. And she held up the baby by the back of his neck and said, "It's an ugly little son of a bitch, isn't it?" And my father could have killed her.
Oh my gosh.
Now, see, I think you always said ugly little tadpole.
Yeah, maybe it was a tadpole, but anyway, she was not doing what my father thought she should have been doing at the time. And then when Beth was born, she had a head full of dark curls. Then came Mindy, and she had 2 blonde hairs on one side and 3 on the other. And somewhere along in her 2nd or 3rd birthday, her sister cut those hairs off.
They weren't curls.
And now look at her. Even before she started using that box stuff, she had dark hair and she had a lot of curls. Waves. So, do you remember when we brought Mindy home from the hospital?
No, I don't remember.
Don't we have it on the movies, pictures of you watching me coming home with her?
I think I have pictures of it, but
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
Do you remember coming home?
Heck no. Do you remember bringing her home?
Yes, I brought her home. Anyway, and Pop-Pop was walking Beth outside waiting for her. Okay.
You know, I don't remember Pop-Pop. I remember Pop-Pop, remember pictures of him, but I don't remember him before he was paralyzed to a certain extent. I only remember him.
You don't remember when he lived on Slade Avenue?
I remember him on Slade. I remember being in the Slade Avenue house,
Okay.
and I remember parts of it, but I don't think of Pop-Up unless I think of him after the
After
stroke.
he had the stroke.
You see, I remember helping him out in the garden, particularly in the fall when we would rake up all the dead stuff and build a bonfire, and I'd have to keep raking the things into the bonfire and keep it from blowing away.
And what else
And
what else did you do wrong?
Well, before we get to the wrong, I remember going through the fields with a can of kerosene, shaking off the Japanese beetles to kill them.
Right.
Where?
In his garden, in that huge garden
It was
behind.
huge,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yes.
And then what Mom wants is when I helped him by weeding up all of his horseradish. I thought they were weeds, and I went through and I pulled up all the horseradish.
Well, to this day, I don't know weeds from regular plants.
Right.
I always arguing the point, so I don't think you did anything wrong.
But the horseradish had its revenge, because one time or another we had some fresh ground horseradish, and I had my usual allergies, and I was congested. And Bubby said, "Here, take a whiff of this. This will clear you out," and it did, from stem to stern. Oh man, I got just. So yeah, horseradish had its revenge. I now like horseradish, but
In
as a child-
moderation.
even in not so moderation, I eat a lot of horseradish. But yeah, so it had its revenge on me.
I do remember the Slade Avenue house. It was near the railroad track.
Right.
And I remember there was a tree that had a rope from it that hung like
Right.
something. I don't know if it was a tire or what it was.
I don't think it was
Some
anything
kind of
on it. I
rope.
think it was just a big knot on the
Yes,
bottom. We would
right.
jump up and swing on it like Tarzan.
Yeah, we loved
I
that.
don't remember that part.
Yes. Because you could go in the front of the house, but they had the kitchen that had, I think was white, very white in the kitchen. And you could go out through the side door, not a back door, but more of a side
Right,
door.
right.
That-
And then,
that
and then
aspect
you
I
went
know.
down the steps, side door
Right.
and then down the steps.
Right.
And I remember that at least one time on the 4th of July, Daddy brought home firecrackers and put them into plastic detergent bottles, like probably was ivory detergent bottles. And he put them in there and light them up, and the bottle exploded.
Was that at Slade Avenue?
I'm pretty sure it was in the back of Slade Avenue.
I don't know, because on Williamson Avenue, the Dane's uncle used to bring fireworks and
Yes.
shoot them off.
Yes, and the dry band's kids used to make fireworks.
How'd they do that?
Oh, down in that little, what was in our house was the tool room, was a little dark room chemistry area.
I don't remember
Oh,
that.
the tool room that was in the front of the house.
The front of the
That
house,
turned
right.
out, and then later turned out to be Bubby's
Oh, like a pantry.
That's
It
right,
was always
yes.
cold down there, yes.
Yeah.
I
Right.
forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, so they did that. It was the older dry band son, the one that went away, did that and there was an explosion at one point.
Hmm. And what do you?
I forgot they had an older one, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
they did.
Okay.
He went away, and he married out of his religion, and he was sort of the black sheep. And I can't think of his name right now.
Larry.
Larry. Okay. And
He'd
they-
been much older than me, maybe that's why.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
remember
oh yeah,
him
he
that
was
well,
probably
yeah.
gone by that time. And they had, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 children. And at one time they showed up in a station wagon. They didn't have any money, didn't have any food or anything. And Lillian, as a mother, it doesn't matter what your kid does, he's still your kid. But I don't think his father was too happy that he came. And over the years, I think that Susan and Eddie have kept in touch with some of their children. And I know when Larry came one time by himself, he cost his father a lot of money because he needed a lot of dental work. Even though the dentists were family members, it still cost a lot of money. There are some of the things you remember.
I remember the tree in the front yard. You could break the bark off, it was worth money.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, we would always.
But you had a money tree down on Park Heights Avenue.
We had a money tree on Park Heights Avenue too?
Yeah, by the bus stop.
Yeah, what was that? I mean,
I
I just
don't know,
think
we
I
just-
thought about it for a long time. Just all of a sudden I thought about it
That's
for a
right.
long time.
We just refer to the bark as being quote money, and we'd break off pieces, and it was just money. Nobody else would accept it, but for some reason,
Legal tender.
for some
Yeah.
reason, we
Yes.
would refer to it that way.
Yes. And Mom had the big snowball bushes on
Yes, the hydrangea.
The hydrangeas.
hydrangeas. Yes, which somehow I can always remember they're snowball bushes, but not
Yeah, well, a lot of
hydrangeas.
people call them simple
Well,
bushes.
if they're white, they're snowball bushes,
That's
and if they're
right.
blue or pink, then they're.
And then
referred to as
you could
hydrangeas.
change the color by adding iron to the soil.
Right.
And I had one Mother's Day, I bought one for Beth and one for Mindy, but it never took at their house.
And then we had the front porch that at some point you guys painted it blue.
Yes, it was painted blue.
It wasn't originally.
And one time we had to move the steps because one of the Stratego pieces had fallen down there.
What?
Yes.
How could you move the steps?
It turns out that the steps were cast separately, and you could actually lift them if you had
Concrete?
enough. Yeah, they were but they were hollow.
I didn't remember that.
And one time or another, we'd lost. Actually, I don't think we moved it when we lost the piece. I think what happened was we lost the piece because we ordered replacement pieces, and we had two. They didn't know what color would match the set, so they sent both of the previous colors.
Mhm.
And so we had one that matched and one that didn't. And then years later, when I guess it was when we were doing the painting, and I was redoing the mortar around the step, and I said, oh, gee, it's a little loose. So I shifted it out, and there was the Stratego piece.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Like 10 years
What,
later.
Stratego or Lego?
No, Stratego. It was a Stratego piece. It was, I don't remember if it was a flag or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We may still have that Stratego set at our house, in which case you'll see there'll be an extra piece in it.
And then we used to climb up the black wrought iron,
Yes?
which I don't understand now, thinking back. There wasn't that much height. Why were we climbing it?
Well, you're not very high now.
it's not
You know
like-
how high you
if
weren't then?
The ceiling is 6.5 feet. I felt like it was really big to climb
Well,
it.
when
but-
we were 4 feet, it was really big. We didn't do it by the time we were teenagers. We did it when we were kids.
and we-
Because I have pictures of me, probably the first year we were there, there was a huge snowstorm, either that year or the year after. And there's quite a bit of snow on the ground, and I'm standing on the porch, and and my head just barely clears the railing, right? So it was, again, more than twice as high as me. So it was quite a feat to climb up there. And then each year we would put up the awnings.
I didn't know I guess they got put up. I know they were there.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
I
didn't,
know
we
you
didn't
took
put
them
them
down.
up,
I did as I got older.
maybe, but I used to hire somebody. Well, we used to hire somebody. Your father was still around too, but
Right.
didn't have the time for it. Do you remember, we have pictures of you wearing a gray a jacket, like with a red trim or something on it, and then later we have pictures of Beth wearing the same jacket.
Oh, yes, yeah, I do remember.
Didn't matter. I don't know whether it zipped or it buttoned, whether it was a male or a female type of jacket, but you both wore them. Yeah.